It's called Advanced Answering Techniques. So it is three professional people explaining to other people how to answer different questions, a multiple variety of questions. Advanced Answering Techniques.
Hello and welcome to Advanced Answering Techniques. I'm one of your co-hosts, Josh, and we take listener questions and provide tasty answers that are even more delicious than gray rocks. At least that's what I think. And we have two other co-hosts. One is Caleb. Caleb, you're remote with us, as we said, you're remote speaking. And I wanted to just kind of circle back on some of your biggest takeaways after your time at Vampire Camp.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, first takeaway. Well, first of all, it's not called Vampire Camp. It's got a kind of a snappier name. I mean, that's what people colloquially call it. But do you want to guess what the snappier name is?
Vampire.
What's that?
Vampire.
I can't hear you. Oh, the connection is bad.
Campfire. And then Gabe said
Vamp Camp.
Well, you're both wrong, but on the right track. It's Vampire Campfire.
It was good.
You said snappier.
Vampire Campfire.
I mean, makes you want to snap someone's neck.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Well, yeah.
I'm surprised it's snap and not bite.
Yeah. Well,
Still
isn't that
neck
interesting?
focus. Still neck focus, though.
This
Do you
is
mean
one of my problems. One of my problems with vampires is like their marketing is completely off.
Right.
Yeah.
They're bad at marketing. You know, they have an aesthetic, but they should really stick with. And I feel like I don't know who's in charge of it, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Vampire Campfire. So anyway, it's not a takeaway though, except I guess it sort of is.
You
but
can
it's
take
not
that with
one of
you.
the I'll take it with me. The other thing is that it's way easier to get people to invite you in than you think if you don't bare your fangs first.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Gotcha.
People will invite you in, but I've seen some guys do it where they bare their fangs before they get the invitation, and that's just a rookie move. Don't do that.
That kind of closes the deal on that particular door.
Yeah, well, it doesn't close the deal's ruined.
That's what I mean. It's closed.
Yeah,
they closed that
But
deal.
closing, it, like you
But
know,
I mean, they closed. This is
the
where
Glengarry Glen
close
Ross
the door
sense.
on the
Close the
deal
door.
of opening the door.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see now.
No, but when you say close the deal on the deal of opening the door, I think this door's open.
No. Close the door
On the deal.
Okay, I'm sorry.
of opening the door.
Now it's starting to all make a lot of
It's
sense.
swimming into focus.
Yes. So okay, there's that takeaway, and then the other takeaway was that having a harem of cursed wives is not nearly as much fun as it seems like.
It is kind of my wife and I were looking at this because the guy that was on Sister Wives, he is now monogamous and he's against polygamy. He divorced like 3 of his wives. He just has one wife now. He's like, this is way better.
This is way better.
So I think across the board, people kind of agree with that.
Especially, after you try it out for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing is I haven't tried it out at all. I came to Vampire Campfire to see what this world is like, and I'm beginning to think this may not be for me,
Right.
I'm a married man and I'm kind of committed to my one wife.
Yeah.
Kind of committed.
I actually didn't. Kind of committed.
Would you say somewhat? Are you more comfortable with somewhat or kind of?
So far, I'm completely kind of committed. Like that's how it's been.
Yeah.
But going to this camp, I saw, that's interesting. But then seeing kind of how
it actually works out on the ground.
Yeah, it's these aren't even just typical women. These are cursed women, and they're always kind of talking about how they're more cursed than the other one.
Yeah, there's lots of baggage with a
yeah,
cursed wife, definitely.
yeah, and they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong; these are beautiful cursed women, but it's not. It's not for me, and I don't think my wife would be on board with it either.
Yeah.
So I kind of beginning to think that this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Might be my last foray.
Well, you've given it a good 10 years of going to vampire campfire, and I did wonder if occasionally in the evenings you guys do a vampire campfire.
Does that happen?
It's tricky because the evening is like our daytime, so we don't really need fires. So I guess
you guys never do that.
No, because we can see in the dark. We don't really need, and we're cold.
So
I personally, not being an actual vampire and just kind of observing, kind of embedding myself in this society, I kind of feel like maybe it's, I would like a campfire, from that line.
Because you're still alive, and you need heat and stuff like that.
Cursed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can't see in the dark as good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. A vampire is probably just something that they don't need generally.
I think that is typically a term they use for when it's like a bunch of dead vampires that are being burned.
Oh, yeah.
They really don't like that term. Vampire is like,
it's like when somebody leaves a window open, like the blinds, open on a window, and the sun comes up. That's a vampire.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I will say another takeaway.
Okay.
This
is the last one.
Last takeaway is it's really impressive that these guys can look like they do, which is pretty pristine, handsome, beautiful, without a mirror.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That is very impressive. Slicked back hair. I mean, I guess when your style is sort of slicking your hair back, you can it's kind of easy to tell when that's happening.
Do you know that all of it is slicked back?
Well, you can kind of run your hand through your hair and kind of.
You can do that, but do you know? It's hard to know.
It's hard to know.
There's a lot of trust built into the other vampires you're around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do vampires sort of stand like opposite each other and kind of help each other out a little bit there?
Yes. Unless one of them's on the outs, then he's gonna look like a complete fool because everyone's gonna say, it looks good. It totally looks good. You look fine.
Yeah.
And he goes out with like a, I don't know, like a
alfalfa,
mohawk.
Kind of an alfalfa.
Like an alfalfa. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, he looks way more alfalfa than Dracula.
Yeah.
It's like,
Alfalfaratu.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Caleb, I'm sorry I know that you had a lot of takeaways to get through there.
That's all.
But I did, as your summer's kind of full of these sorts of camps. And I wondered, as you're going into your next camp, what kind of intentions you were setting for a week at surgery camp. And also, this year, are you going as a camper or a counselor? Just surgery camp.
I guess I'm gonna decide that when I get there. See, kind of.
Oh, really? You have that luxury. I didn't
I kind of know the guys there pretty well, so I can go. This year I'm going as a counselor.
And what kind of?
Because I don't want to hang out with these campers.
And what is the main?
I don't want to be on the same level as them. These campers, I want to be above. Sometimes you get there, you see a bunch of campers, and you're like, "Ooh."
Actually,
I'd kind of like to be I want these guys to be my peer group.
Right. Wait. So, what is surgery camp? Is it just like you're doing surgeries and?
Or is it?
What is it?
That's one thing I've never quite clear on. Are you doing the surgery?
Well, I was gonna say,
are you doing the surgeries or are the surgeries done to you? And is that in that camper counselor kind of dichotomy? How does that work out?
Right. Is it the counselors are like, here, I'm going to do surgery on you now, or what's the?
Well, it's surgery in all of its facets. So yeah, but you're right. Like you start off learning how to have a surgery done to you,
Yeah. Okay.
and then when you're a counselor, then you can do the surgeries.
And
So yeah.
are these necessary surgeries, or are they mostly just for fun?
There's the odd necessary surgery,
Okay.
but there are several mandatory surgeries that are not necessary.
And that's, we're kind of used to the elective versus like required surgery.
Yeah.
But you're saying there's a third category of mandatory
surgery.
Yeah, mandatory surgery that is not necessary. Yeah, in the vein of, for the Jews, circumcision.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Gotcha.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you staying at Lobotomy Lodge this year?
No, thankfully I got over to a vasectomy villa.
Gabe, our other co-host. Gabe, you're in church, and your priest is like, to everybody, is like, hey, guess what? A little surprise for you guys. Right before the Eucharist.
Oh boy.
He introduces a new bishop, and it's the old crone. And you give your priest a look like, come on. And he's looking at you with an expression like, my hands are tied. And you've done a lot of counseling with your priest about the old crone.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's very aware of kind of your history with the old crone. And the old crone / your bishop comes up and is like, for my first act as bishop at this church, I wanted to introduce some new changes where instead of the wafer for the host, we're using little gray rocks. And she's looking right at you the whole time she says it. And so do you take communion from the old crone and eat the little gray rocks?
I think I would abstain at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
And kind of what's your reason? I mean, this is your church. This is the Lord's Supper.
I want to submit to
the
authority.
Eucharist being offered to you.
Sure.
Okay. But so I just wanted to get kind of a picture of like, okay, so you're not going to eat the little gray rocks?
I'm not going to eat the little gray rocks, but it's really not because of any of the history with the gray rocks or anything like this. I'm actually going to get in touch with the Archbishop and ask, how a woman was actually ordained as bishop in our church, because that's not something that we do.
It seems unlikely. It seems like a problem. So yeah, I guess
I think it invalidates any authority that she might have.
The priest looking like his hands are tied is just kind of lying.
Yeah. That's kind of I'm going to start to ask questions about their relationship and what what does she have on him? Perhaps I don't know. That's causing this.
Yeah. She's got some information on his relationship with gray rocks that could be compromising or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, really. Yeah, something that some kind of position that he has on little gray rocks that he's not ready for people to sort of, maybe not like anything really, just something that maybe society's not comfortable with at this point, but not immoral or anything.
It's not a perversion,
right?
Or a perversion, for that matter.
It's not even perverted.
It's not. It's none of those versions.
Yeah, it's not. It's just kind of odd.
Right. It would strike me as very odd. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
The whole situation, I'd be like, "There's something a little off about this."
So yeah, it is interesting though, because Satan at one point is like, Jesus makes some bread out of these rocks.
That's interesting, yeah.
And then so it seems like it's like a
pretty
Eucharist.
Bad deal.
I think so. I mean, and I would say that the Eucharist in Scripture is always described as bread. Right. It's that's consistent across all four Gospels is bread and wine. Both of those elements. So that would be my other objection.
Yeah.
So that's probably how I will handle that situation in the future.
If it comes up.
When
it comes up. Yeah. Also, she did, I think, and we didn't this wasn't emphasized as much in the situation, but she was trying to replace the wine with twisted tea.
Oh boy, that is.
Again,
so you can see it in the name.
Yeah, it's
twisted.
I think that is a perversion there.
Yes, totally. That is completely perverted.
I wanted to hit the Spotlightify comments.
Beautiful.
Here. We've got a few. Last week was about scooters, and we were helping Joy come up with some mean slurs about scooters. And so she said, I think we landed on scootards as kind of the main one.
Yeah.
That was really Gabe doing the heavy lifting on that particular term. And Joy says, "Ooh, I can't wait for one of these scootards to buzz past our houses and I can yell at them." My thoughts were, this is Joy. Remember, we kind of made a call for additional slurs that could be used.
Right. Yeah.
And Joy said she was suggesting buzz butts and bone breakers.
Wait, what was the second one?
Bone breakers.
Bone breakers. Okay, that's too cool.
Yeah. Do you think it's kind of aggrandizing?
Bone breakers is too cool.
It does
That's
sound
like the name of a scooter gang.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a cool gang that you actually might consider, humiliating yourself on an e-scooter in order to be part of. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got like chains.
Yeah.
And they've got maybe a lance.
Yeah.
They've got lances and chains.
Maybe a sledgehammer. I'm just thinking about breaking
bones.
No.
Hold on. Why? Hold on.
Wait.
No. Why not?
Wait. Just wait. They don't each have a lance. They have one group lance.
Yeah.
That
was the only thing I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
And they're
Gabe, they're riding. We can have sledgehammers too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Individual sledgehammers, I think.
Yeah. So these guys are on wheeled vehicles. They have a lance. Are they calling it Armstrong?
Are they calling it Armstrong?
Yeah. Do they call their lance Armstrong?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
What else do you call it?
But it sounds like if they're all holding it, it's going to be a big lance. So they better hope they are Armstrong.
Some of them, they're arguing actually about calling it Armstrong and calling it a wound.
Yeah, because there's a lot of it's actually tearing the gang apart.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of a bad time to join the Bone Breakers. There's a lot of division right now over this issue.
Or it's a great time and you take what's yours.
Or theirs.
Yeah, I mean, but what you think is yours.
Yeah.
It used to be theirs, but now it's going to be yours because you're going to swoop in and lead up the one of the groups.
Mm-hmm.
I responded to Joy's comment with a crying, laughing face emoji.
Appropriate.
Julie, on the same episode, says Scootards is so good, Gabe.
Oh, thank you.
She didn't say Gabe, but
I have to shout out to my listener and contributor Isaac. Texted me Scootard, just Scootard, and I didn't really know how to respond to that, but I sent a text back, and then he said, I sent that about 4 minutes before I heard you offer that as an option for the slur. So he was ahead of the game on that one. So shout out to Isaac. Big ups.
If
we believe him.
I do. I have no reason not to.
I believe him.
But
it's not some Justin.
It's not like he's got the word lie in his last name.
Scootards is so good. I don't think I could top it. I think I would just add in a bunch of threats as they scoot by, like, get out of here, you Scootards, skedaddle, don't come back or your ankles are going to break. I do want to make, I also responded to that with a crying, laughing face emoji. I did want to say that if you go to try to see that particular comment, you won't be able to because Spotify has hidden it. and says this comment is hidden as it may be inappropriate or sensitive.
Interesting.
It doesn't seem. It seems insensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think if you just say that, I would say I would shout a bunch of threats. That seems like that invalidates your comment on Spotify.
Spotify's like something weird's going on here. Also, I would maybe tell them
careful.
Instead of telling them to skedaddle, I would tell them to scoodaddle. But that's just
skedaddle. Yeah, I was just thinking that too.
And skedaddle is one of my favorite threats. That is, I think that's a very substantive threat.
Oh, it sends chills down my spine.
Yeah.
Sorry, Caleb, you were going to say.
No, I was going to say, in the future, if you do want to say that you're going to threaten someone on our comments, maybe say you're not going to, and then at the end add a winking emoji.
Yeah.
And we'll know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to be able to use the word threat. There's probably just some AI that's recognizing, like, I would use threats, I would scream threats, or something like that. So just avoid that, and you should probably be fine.
You'll probably be okay.
Okay, and then we have one more. This is from the episode previous to that. That's episode 88. Turn myself in. That's where we had Aaron, who is giving us kind of some more information about the Ethan Rogers saga. And Justin said, "This is my favorite true crime podcast."
Oh, wow.
So he is kind of seeing that as Caleb, I think you had kind of suggested something along the lines of Serial. At some point, maybe we should do something like that.
Ooh, I love Serial. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought we were like the
Serial, the podcast.
Everybody's baby's first podcast. Serial.
Oh yeah.
Serial. I'm sorry.
Serial.
Serial.
Yeah.
In series.
The one you listen to, you don't eat.
Which honestly, Justin, if you haven't listened to Serial, I recommend.
Snap, Crackle,
I was
going
to say Rice Krispies, Caleb. If you just let me finish for crying out loud.
Oh boy!
You
stomped all over that one.
Second. I'm sure somebody's made that joke before, but
if you want to listen to Serial, Snap, Crackle, and Pop, get some Rice Krispies.
Pour a little milk on, or water. It probably crackles in water.
Yeah, it's actually just water. Yeah,
it probably does.
Save some money.
It's time to get to our question. We have a question this week from friend of the podcast, Justin. You just heard from him in the comments. By the way, thought it'd be worth mentioning, this is episode 90.
90.
Can you believe it?
Wow.
Episode 90 is about Justin, and he has a question for us.
Hey guys, I've got a question for Joy, but until she's able to answer me, you guys are welcome to let me know what you think she would say. Hey Joy, I'm currently potty training my daughter, and she goes during the night. We do a thing where she goes at 10 p.m. when I'm going to bed. I wake her up and she goes then, and then I take her again at 2 a.m. and then she goes when she wakes up in the morning, which is around 7 a.m. Now, she has gotten to the point where she was not really going that much at 10, so we were able to drop the 10 o'clock one. But she still goes during the 2 a.m. one, and the idea was that we were going to push that 2 a.m. Potty training to 3 and then 4. But the sun is up at like 4:30, and I don't want my daughter to just stay awake at 4:30, and then we'd have to, be her parents that early in the morning. So I was just wondering, what do you think we should do about this situation? Thanks, Joy, and for the meantime, thanks, guys.
Okay, so I guess I was wrong. The question was not for us. The question was for Joy.
Questions for Joy.
We get to be sort of sidelined on our own podcast. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You're taking it kind of positively. I was thinking of it in a much more negative sense. That we're sort of like, is this the future of the podcast? Various question askers just directing their questions at each other.
It just kind of becomes a network a question.
Yeah,
and
a question and answer network,
which honestly doesn't sound like it's much fun for us. Just being sort of the middleman doesn't sound that much fun.
If we can kind of mix and match the questions and the answers, that might be pretty fun, though.
If we get to sort of be the telephone operators routing it, so that would be.
I just mean matching different questions and different answers.
Oh,
you might get some interesting results.
Okay. So you're saying we've been soliciting questions. You're saying we should just solicit answers.
Yeah,
and then so that if we had a log of answers and a log of questions, we could do that. That's interesting. That's a completely different. That's a completely different direction, but that is interesting.
Yeah,
it really has almost nothing to do with what was happening, kind of in the setup.
But
but is an interesting, compelling idea.
Let's actually not publish this part and let's save it and we'll develop it.
We'll develop it a little further. So yeah, listeners, you won't be hearing this part.
Yeah. If you
Too bad.
There's something wrong.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Something happened.
So I mean,
something didn't happen.
Right. Yeah, that's true actually. All that is necessary for evil to succeed is for good men to stand by and do nothing.
Or try to do too much. That's the part they don't tell you.
But yeah, most other people don't. But if we were to put this podcast out and leave this in, we would be telling you.
Yep.
And that's we're kind of friend to the little man, aren't we?
Yes. Right. And the little men, all the little men and women.
I guess I'd say Justin's
especially
my friend.
Certain little men. Yeah.
Okay, so this question, though, I mean, we're supposed to answer it as Joy.
No, So I think that could be interesting. Is if you feel compelled, you could try to anticipate maybe what Joy might say in the situation, but I think we can answer it from our own stores of knowledge as well, our own experience, etc.
Yeah.
What was the actual question again? It was should they wake their child up that early? Was that what it was?
I guess. I really wish
we listen to it again?
I wish his question was, should we be doing this for potty training at all?
Is this a good way to do it?
He kind of assumes like this is
the way to go.
How you potty train. And I've never done that.
Yeah, the obvious, I mean, I feel like there is a really obvious answer, but I don't know. Did you want to listen to it again to make sure we're answering the right question?
Check in and just make sure that we have
let's see.
Because I don't know that I really have the exact question.
Just read the transcription. I don't want to listen to it.
I was just wondering, what do you think we should do about this situation?
Very open-ended. So I think kind of what the area that we're already in is applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't do this is what I'm hearing from kind of you two.
I
Basically,
think so. Yeah.
I think so. And I also think it is interesting that he kind of imagines it as when his child is asleep, that he is not her parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a less active state of parenting.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Well, I was gonna say I've never thought of myself as not my sleeping child's parent, but I have kind of acted like that. Eating a bunch of bad food for myself after I told them that they couldn't have all day.
Yeah. Doing all this,
telling them they can't watch TV. I do like everything. I think this is already a stand-up bit by someone, but it is like all of their worst fears are true.
Yeah.
Parents are doing everything that they're telling their kid not to
do. Frequently, I will just, when my children are sleeping, just go urinate in a bed.
Right, exactly. That's just lay down. And with all your clothes on, not even changed into PJs or a nightshirt,
awake,
just totally awake, putting your feet on the wall, scraping your feet across the whole wall, getting the dirt all over the wall.
Didn't brush my teeth.
No toothbrushing, sucking on a lollipop and just peeing.
just taking that opportunity to let it to bed.
Letting fly.
Oh boy. But it's a lot of freedom. Yeah, you were sitting there peeing, watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and eating ice
Right.
cream.
Yeah. It's awesome, honestly. It freaking rules.
If any of my kids are listening, I just want to let them know, hey, it gets better. And eventually you can become a parent and live life on your terms the way you want to.
Yeah, you don't have to be a parent to do all that stuff, but it does feel kind of cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't talk enough about sort of how cool hypocrisy feels.
Exactly. I did have an idea for actually, solving some of this problem, which I think, Justin, have you considered just putting your kid to bed on the toilet? Because that sounds like, it sounds like you're spending a lot of time throughout the night on the toilet. Anyway, she is on the toilet anyway.
This is really good.
So why not just convert the bed to a toilet or the toilet to a bed?
Yep.
I know that there's
Or
like bedpans. Maybe.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Do you remember those? You'd put like a penny in, and it would like go all the way around.
Yes.
The big funnel that would then
funnel.
land in the bottom. You could make like a bed that's basically a funnel.
Okay.
Into a toilet.
Yeah.
That's good. My first idea is, one of those masseuse tables or chiropractic tables with a hole. With a hole. That's maybe get your hands on one of those guys. You can set that up. That's perfect.
You're gonna have to modify it a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put the hole in a different place, I think.
Well, no, the hole's already there, and that's the beauty of the solution.
But it's
the hole's kind of in a place where it's not gonna. You're not really gonna be lying down.
No, I understand. No. Well, so
use that.
Think
hole.
about a small person where they are. And maybe we can also incorporate some of your idea. So there's kind of a sluice.
I was gonna say maybe if you just have it at a slight angle so that
kind of runs towards that,
like a gutter.
Yes, So this is not communicable to the.
It's not gonna work.
No. This is not the table I'm thinking of. So that's fine. This is a good table. Caleb's showing us
this is
he's
a great
in a
table.
room with a masseuse / chiropractic table. But I'm talking about it. It's a full table all the way around that area. It's just cut out there. So you have a variation on that, which is cool. And I'm not taking shots at your table.
It's a great table.
It's not the table I'm thinking of.
I don't even know if I've ever seen the table you're thinking of.
I don't think so either.
I mean,
really, the border of the table continues around that hole. Anyway,
just a little bit, yeah. Maybe that's old. Maybe that's how it was when you were doing that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess long time ago.
Yeah, I had a long period of spending a lot of time with chiropractors.
Yeah, so I guess that could be
learning
that
their
explains
ways.
that.
Yeah,
that explains that.
So, is there? I wanted to. We do have kind of another component here that I wanted to move on to, but if there are any further things that you guys think we should do,
I think these are good options.
I think we should try to think of what Joy would say. You know?
Oh, okay.
It's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Based on last week,
she does. Yeah, but no, that's true.
The target is like a child, so I wouldn't say that Joy is going to go after a kid.
But she has turned over maybe a new leaf and is into mean slurs.
Yeah.
These sisters, Julie and Joy, are they seem to be into threats and mean slurs.
Yes.
Yep. Hurling.
Yeah. Okay. So let's think, though. I think she's gonna be like, sounds like you're a very committed dad. Say something nice like that,
when he's awake, when he's conscious.
When he's awake. When the kid is awake.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
awake.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Good point.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Really good point. It was a great point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. You're welcome.
So I think that she's gonna say something like, talk about how he's committed dad, doing all this hard work.
Yeah.
For his conscious child. And then she's gonna say, "But I don't. It's not the way I've done it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be
Yeah,
what?
I'm sorry. Could you kind of fill us in on how
Is she using the table or the toilet method?
I think she's gonna say she's just kind of wait it out.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Wait it out.
Mm-hmm.
You do the potty training during the day, and your kid, especially a little girl, I feel like they're like typically really don't want to be wet.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's definitely been my experience.
dirty.
I have one daughter, and she is the kind of kid who's like, she doesn't want her fingers to be sticky from eating or anything like that. Like, she wants to be clean.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a coworker who's trying to potty train his son, and it's like, this is a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No pun intended.
He likes his fingers to be sticky from doing all kinds of things.
Doesn't matter. He's indiscriminate about the provenance of stickiness on his fingers. He just likes it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like the Rolling Stones.
Rolling great rocks. Now I'm listening.
Right, yeah, now you're talking about.
I've always been more of a
been
more of a Beatles guy my whole life.
Trying to
But
catch it.
Maybe
Trying to catch it with his tongue.
Gabe's been waiting for a new release from the Rolling Crones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, their first album was great. Got me really excited about more. They have been dormant.
Yeah, it's
for
been
many
kind
years.
of Chinese democracy situation.
It's good. Anyway, but I think Joy, that does sound like that would roughly be, kind of where she would land on it.
Yeah. Well, guys,
I really hope we got it.
Here's what's interesting is I've actually taken the trouble to get a recording of Joy answering
Amazing
this question.
Wow.
So we have that, and we'll listen to it now.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, hi, Justin. Thank you. I feel so honored to be asked a question. I'm going to try to keep this short. I don't know how long. I don't want to take up too much time on the podcast.
Just as a spoiler alert, it's not that short. This is a minute and 42 seconds long.
Okay.
But I don't want to sound ungrateful.
I'm probably not the person to be asking this of because I personally don't feel like potty training is my strong suit because it's something that the more children I have procrastinated more and more because I feel like people take so much effort, and I'm always impressed with those parents who are like getting up at like 2:00 in the morning. That's amazing. I would never do that. I would just put a kid in a pull-up till they woke up with dry pull-ups, and then I'd be like, oh, you're not wetting your bed anymore. And then that's kind of what I have done. So because I don't feel like, unless you're like in your hundreds and 90s, people wake up at 4:30 to go to the bathroom. Well, not hundreds and 90s, unless you're like, I would say like older people wake up early to have to go to the bathroom. Especially if it's at like 4:30. Like, so I don't know. I feel like it's legitimate to want to get your guys' sleep and your child to get their sleep because everyone does better when they get sleep. It just is true. And also not to stress too much about it because kids figure it out, and it's like riding a bike. They figure it out.
Classic proverb about riding a bike.
Yep. It is like riding a bike. You figure it out. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not that part of the proverb. There's another proverb I think of when it's riding your bike, which is you learn to do it once and you just always know.
Right.
It's like riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
Once you learn, you never forget.
You never forget.
How to
Right. And I felt like that mostly for most of my adult life has been true with regards to my continence.
Yeah.
And going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have some bad news for Joy about how old you have to be to wake up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom and say 4:30 or something like that. It happens way before 90 or 100, I would say. maybe in your late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
It's,
if you're a man.
Yeah, seems like that. So.
Yeah, I mean it's overall. I give Joy's answer. Are we doing a letter grade?
We're doing a letter grade, and it's
I was going to give it a
P. Okay, this is a B, and so you're thinking
a P.
Oh, a P. It's a pass.
It's a pass. As in,
so actually, so like if we're
not going to do it,
if we're
right.
If we're talking about, I hate to be a pedant about this, but if we're talking about grade scales, that's not a letter grade scale. That's just a pass-fail scale.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
when we get into grade scales,
I don't know what could have come over me. Like maybe I was just trying to have a little bit of fun or something. I apologize.
But that wouldn't be I just in case we have anybody listening who's
any teachers,
or
come after us,
college administrators.
Yeah, they would have given you an F on that grade scale.
That's true, and that stands for what, Caleb?
Well, I'm not going to repeat it.
But if you get the F, you will have to repeat the class.
You do have to. You got to retake it.
Not the grade. I will never repeat what the grade stands for.
Got to retake it on your transcript. That particular course, the original instance will be marked with an R, and the subsequent instances will not have the R. It'll replace that in the grade points. That'll be the 4-credit class of record on the transcript.
Yeah. I should not have mentioned grade scales.
Well, I give Josh an A.
Yeah.
And sorry, so do you want to finish that?
Nope. It is.
I'm sorry. It just sounded
I give Josh a.
Sorry, it's like A. Like Fonz.
Oh yeah.
The Fonz. I was gonna say actually another popular character. I was gonna give him a AAA for all right.
Oh yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
One of those. Yeah, as
Matthew McConaughey. Hey.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plus.
Did he?
A plus.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey. A plus. Yeah.
Yeah. A plus work today.
I love high school girls.
I love high school classes.
And back to grade.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a good answer. Joy mostly has male children, so maybe that is the best method for that side of things is the pull-up diaper method.
That seems very reasonable. You're kind of cutting with the grain.
Yeah.
I get the idea that Justin's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it really does come down to how important is this as a problem to solve? How urgent is that? If there's maybe you can think of some reasons why this is such a big deal for Justin.
If the pee is boiling, if the pee is boiling hot and it hurts, then
think about that is a real problem because like a diaper will the once that's wet, it really retains heat in a diaper. So that's true. If your child is urinating and the temperatures of the urine are say in the 150 to 210
and climbing
Fahrenheit range,
right.
Then I mean, this is not an option. That pretty much invalidates Joy's answer if that's the case. So Joy didn't. So this is kind of interesting. Joy did comment in an email that wow, this is a lot harder than I thought. And I guess as a sort of nascent question answerer, this is exposing some of her vulnerability. She didn't think, what do I should maybe provide for some contingencies where say a child is urinating at a temperature of 190 degrees Fahrenheit.
They just
double body temperature, basically. Somehow.
I mean,
crazy. Yeah. I mean, I've never heard of it happening.
But that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Right.
We're gonna ask those questions.
We're gonna try to seek out all those little avenues and alleys
in the process of answering. Yeah. What? Yeah. Okay. Sure. You're potty training your child. What if they're peeing boiling hot urine? You ever think about that? So, you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, there's some other things I could think of too. I have thought of them. I don't know if I want to share them.
Yeah, and I think that's
that's probably wise.
That's probably where we should land on that.
Once, no offense, Caleb, but once you've kind of had a moment of pause to say maybe I shouldn't say this, I agree.
Yeah, this starts to really. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the most. Yeah, the most. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm gonna.
What's so funny about all this is that I actually have to go pee so bad.
Oh boy!
Right now, but because I had really committed parents, I'm not going to do it in my pants.
Oh, I was gonna say because you thought ahead, you were a pull-up.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening to Advanced Answering Techniques. If you'd like us to treat your questions this way, we'd love to have them sent to advancedansweringtechniques@gmail.com. We're looking for an audio file about a minute in length. Guys, anything else we need to deal with right here at the very end? I feel like this was an interesting foray into kind of a new area where we have listeners requesting answers from other listeners, giving listeners, those other listeners, a chance to exercise their expertise.
That's really
cool.
It
would be kind of fun to be like just like the operators at like an old school phone company, and what about Bob?
Susquehanna 9222.
Yeah.
Or even that old too, yeah. And just be like, we're just connecting people with other people and kind of like.
I was not on board initially, but then when Josh, did you use the telephone operator, or was that you, Caleb, talking about telephone operators at first? I was like, ooh, that's actually getting me on board.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Oh, I see.
On the routing board.
But
on the board.
I did want to say, yes, it was a foray into kind of new territory. But what's cool is that, we kind of had some continuity with the previous era where we actually spent quite a lot of the episode talking about, various bodily functions. And that's always nice to have that, sort of thread that continues.
Continence annuity. Continence annuity.
It's true. Incontinence annuity. So yeah, I mean that's great. We, you might get some on the pod when you are after you download the episode and you turn it on, you might get something new, but also some old favorites like talking about.
This is one thing I do right. That's good. I do want to make sure everyone knows this. Just like Gabe said, download it and then turn it on.
Right.
Download it and then turn it on. Once you listen to it, you'll get to this part, and I'll tell you a little bit about a Substack that I have, Stervenson, STERVENSON.substack.com. I did a little story on there about back in the day when I went to Sports Weekend. And you get a little peek inside of my life. And,
I really enjoyed it.
And boy, isn't that fascinating for people to try to think of what Josh Stevenson was like as but a boy.
Fun. It was fun. And go ahead and review us.
Sure, review us.
Yep. Give us a number grade.
Give us a number grade.
A star grade.
Or it could be pass fail. It could be grade scale, pass fail.
Yeah.
Like letter grade scale or just pass fail PF. Also, and you can do that. Probably the most effective way to do that would be by giving a 5-star review on Spotify, and then you could also just go in the comments and go on any of our episodes and just comment the episode.
Just say something for crying out loud.
Say something. We'd still like to hear more mean slurs. Not just necessarily about scootards, but just anybody.
Anybody.
Love it. Want to hear it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.